If you've ever opened a futures account, you've probably seen it. Up to 125 times leverage. And if you're like most traders, your first thought was, this is how people get rich fast. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Leverage is the #1 reason why most futures traders blow up their accounts long before they ever see a profit. I've spent years studying why traders fail, and the pattern is so predictable, it's almost scary. Today, I'm going to show you exactly why leverage is secretly destroying your trades, the psychological trap behind it, and the one thing smart traders do that almost nobody talks about. And if you stay to the end, I'll reveal the simple leverage rule used by professional fund managers, so you don't end up as just another liquidation statistic. Let's first understand why leverage feels so seductive, but is so dangerous. The illusion of control. Most traders step into leverage thinking it's their shortcut to bigger profits. They tell themselves, if the market moves 1%, I'll make 50%. Easy. But here's the truth nobody wants to hear. Leverage doesn't multiply opportunity. It multiplies your mistakes. A tiny 1% move against you at 50 times leverage? You're not just losing a bit. Your account is down 50% instantly, before you've even had time to blink. But your brain doesn't register this danger. Your brain thinks, I size this position. I'm in control. I'm managing risk. Except you're not. You're experiencing the illusion of control, one of the same psychological traps that cause gamblers to believe they just need one good hand. This illusion is exactly why beginners keep increasing leverage, even while their probability of survival falls to near zero. And here's where the story gets worse. The leverage volatility mismatch. Markets don't behave politely. They don't move in smooth, predictable lines like textbooks pretend they do. Real markets are messy. They spike, they wick, they fake out, and sometimes they reverse violently for absolutely no logical reason at all. A single whale order, a liquidity grab, an algorithm firing off in the middle of the night. That's all it takes to send the price flying in the opposite direction for a split second. Here's the shocking part most beginners never realize. Most futures traders don't blow up because they're wrong. They blow up because they underestimate how brutally the market moves, even when they're right. You can predict the trend correctly. Your techniques can be perfect. Your analysis can be spot on. And none of that matters, because one tiny wick, lasting less than a second, can wipe you out before the actual move begins. A harmless-looking 0.5% spike is just noise to the market. But at 50 times leverage, that noise is a nuclear bomb. It hits your liquidation price instantly, forces you out of the position, and then, like adding insult to injury, the price immediately continues in the exact direction you predicted. This is the great paradox of leverage. It turns correct traders into guaranteed losers, not because their skills are bad, but because their margin for survival becomes so thin that even a random fluctuation can kill their entire account. But the real danger isn't the price movement. It's what this constant threat does to you, to your judgment, your psychology, and your ability to think clearly under pressure. The psychology spiral. Here's what almost no trader will admit publicly. Leverage changes who you are when you trade. A small loss, the kind that's normal in any strategy, suddenly feels catastrophic. A winning trade that nets you $20 feels meaningless because you could have made more with higher leverage. Your emotional baseline shifts upward into constant stress. Every time you take a reckless position and somehow escape disaster, your brain rewards you. You start believing you're skilled when actually you just got lucky. This is the psychological spiral. Normal market noise starts to feel like danger. Rational decisions are replaced by impulses. Your emotional threshold becomes razor thin. It's not that traders love risk. It's that leverage quietly rewires your brain, making you sensitive to every tiny tick on the chart. And this leads straight into the deepest problem of all: the hidden math of ruin. Professional traders talk a lot about something called risk of ruin, the probability that your account eventually hits zero. And here's the brutal mathematical reality. At high leverage, your risk of ruin doesn't just rise. It approaches 100%, not because you're unskilled, not because your setup is bad, but because the math becomes unwinnable. Even a strategy that wins 60% of the time can still blow up when the losing trades are magnified by massive leverage. It's like playing a casino game where one unlucky hand wipes out your entire bankroll. No matter how good you are, the outcome is already written. The seduction of fast money. Even after understanding all the risks, the psychology, the volatility, the math, most people still choose high leverage. Why? Because leverage offers something irresistible, the fantasy of getting rich this week. It compresses time, it makes wealth feel instant, it taps into that same dopamine loop casinos designed to keep gamblers glued to the table until they've lost everything. But there's another factor that almost no one talks about: the fear of missing out on the next crypto-style explosion. People look back and think, if I had just bought Bitcoin earlier? If I had caught that altcoin pump? If I had used more leverage, I could have turned a tiny amount into millions. This regret becomes fuel, and instead of accepting that they missed an opportunity, traders try to recreate those once-in-a-decade events using extreme leverage. It feels like a shortcut to making up for lost time, like a way to catch up to everyone who got rich in 2017 or 2021 or the last bull run. But that illusion is exactly what the market exploits. Because here's the twist that should really make you pause. The people who got rich in crypto didn't do it with 50 times leverage. Most of them barely used leverage at all. They simply survived long enough to let the market do the heavy lifting. Meanwhile, the traders who chase fast money with maximum leverage don't just miss the next opportunity, they never even make it to the starting line. Their accounts are already wiped out before the real move begins. And that's the cruel irony. High leverage doesn't speed up your path to wealth. It speeds up your path to ruin. The simple leverage rule. Professionals live by. Before we finish, here's something most retail traders never hear. The simple leverage rule used by professional fund managers. It's the rule that keeps hedge funds alive, prop firms profitable, and portfolio managers employed. Use only the amount of leverage you can survive being wrong with. Sounds almost too simple, right? But here's what it really means in practice. If a single bad trade can blow up your account, the leverage is too high. If normal market noise can liquidate you, the leverage is too high. If you need the market to behave perfectly, the leverage is way too high. Professionals don't aim to maximize profit per trade. They aim to maximize longevity. Most big funds rarely go above 1.5 times to 2 times, even with entire teams of analysts, algorithms, and risk systems backing their decisions. Because the moment you push leverage beyond what you can emotionally and mathematically survive, you're no longer trading, you're gambling with a countdown timer. And that's why this rule matters. It's not about limiting your upside. It's about making sure you don't become just another liquidation statistic. Now you understand the dark side of leverage, how it distorts your judgment, magnifies small errors, and mathematically pushes your account toward ruin. If you found this eye-opening, here are 2 other videos you'll definitely enjoy. And if you like the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And always remember, smart investing isn't luck.